Hello everyone, I'm Sheriff Wayne Ivey and welcome to another great podcast episode for us. As you know, this is On the Go with BCSO, and we try and get as much information out to our community as we can through the different mediums we have available, and certainly our podcast is a chance for us to tell you about the great things going on in our agency, the different units, the different components, also about the different things that are happening in our community and some of our great partners that we have out there. So speaking of great partners, I got Corporal Jay Martinez with me as always here in the studio. Jay, how you doing?
Not too bad. I love doing this. This is I can't believe you paid me to do this. So this is awesome.
I do?
I think so.
I was under the impression that you were volunteering to do this. My bad. So we'll be getting another co-host.
This will be my last show.
So, no, Jay, always great to have you here, buddy. You and I work together a lot. So we're blessed to have with us today Jay from the Wild Florida Rescue, Jenny White. And Jenny, welcome to the show. I had a chance to meet with you a few different times, and I said at the opening that we also talk about the great partnerships we have, and certainly your organization is one of those great partnerships that we enjoy here in Brevard. Not just us from the Sheriff's Office, but just us from a community standpoint, all the different things you do. So let's start out. Tell us a little bit about everything that your organization does.
Well, thank you so much for your kind words. I am a rescue lead with Wild Florida Rescue. Wild Florida Rescue has been helping Brevard County's wildlife for 3 years, and last year we got over 5,000 calls from citizens and other agencies within the county.
Wow, 5,000 calls.
Yes.
What are some of those calls? What are they like?
Well, we rescue almost all Florida native wildlife. We don't deal with gators over 3 feet, and we do not have a venomous permit, so we don't handle those. But we do get calls from injured birds and injured wildlife, babies that have fallen from the nest, that need renesting, sick animals, and we go all over the county to try to find care for them. So we rescue them and then take them wherever they need to be taken to.
So for those for our listeners and stuff, from our end, Animal Services, we handle domestic animals, dogs and cats, and sometimes horses and things of that nature. We have those that work with us. When we have a nuisance gator or something like that, you guys are everything in between those two, from a lack of better terms, I would imagine.
Yes, and we actually get calls quite often from some of your amazing animal services officers, and that we work together amazingly. They'll keep eyes on an animal for us for an hour if need be to get help for that animal. So that's been absolutely amazing to work with.
So you guys, raccoons, birds?
Raccoons, yes. A lot of raccoon calls, a lot of bird calls, squirrels, possums, snakes, bobcats, coyotes, you name it.
I'd like to try one of them.
Oh, man.
Yeah, not the snakes.
Yeah.
So how'd you get into this? How did you start in this?
So we moved to Brevard County. My husband and I moved to Brevard County when he was in the station at Patrick Air Force Base in the military, and we've been overseas for a long time, and I had been getting my degrees, and I wanted to come here more than anything. That was my goal. I was like, please let me get here, mainly because of the manatees. That was always my dream, was to see a manatee and maybe work with manatees. Yeah. And since then, I've been just volunteering with the zoo and with Hub SeaWorld Research Institute and FWC. And then I met Heather, who started this organization, and we've just been growing ever since.
Wow. I think sometimes we forget how fortunate we are to live here, not just in Brevard, but just in this incredible environment. I'm listening to you talk about, you always want to see a manatee and stuff, and I can't even remember the first time I saw a manatee, as a kid growing up and stuff. So it's amazing the things we take for granted that we forget about. So you guys obviously are dealing with different species, different types of things. One of the big issues that we were talking about a little bit earlier is the winter migratory birds. And tell me about that.
So right now we are seeing an influx of lots of different kinds of birds, from freshwater birds on ponds like mergansers and different kinds of ducks, to wading birds like wood storks and white pelicans, and then also a lot of shorebirds and then pelagic seabirds that migrate from hundreds or thousands of miles down here for the winter. And because of natural selection and migratory process, a lot of the juvenile birds can become fatigued or have lack of food sources, and then will wash up on the beach, and they will be just exhausted. And so we get a lot of calls from these birds saying there's birds on the beach and they have broken legs and they need help. But actually it's just the body composition. Their legs are backwards, so they cannot walk on land. They're made for the ocean. And so they're not broken or hurt, they're just resting.
They're just exhausted from.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, just out of curiosity, Jay,
That's what I do when I'm exhausted. I just lay on the beach, my legs backwards, my legs aren't broken, I'm just tired, leave me alone.
I'm just curious, out of all those birds she just named off, did you
Zero.
know a single?
Zero. And I'm shaking my head like, oh, okay, yeah.
Well, I'm sure you've seen the wood storks. So they're white and they have this big, their bill almost looks like wood, and it's really hard. And
Okay.
when they clack it, it sounds like wood being clacked together.
Pelican, right? No?
No. Long legs.
They're all pelicans to me. It's like, pelican.
We get a lot of calls like that. It's a baby pelican. It's a different kind of pelican.
Yeah. Now you guys respond out, because I know I was out riding with one of our deputies one day, and out on 520 we had a bird that had been hit by a car, and you guys came out, and man, it was neat,
Yeah.
man. They pull up and it's like this rescue unit, and they get out and they got these big giant gloves and stuff.
Wow.
And so you guys get called out a lot?
Oh, yes. So we deal with county line to county line, and Brevard County is a long county.
Oh, yeah.
And typically there's only one of us and on for a 24-hour shift, and that is dispatch as well as logistics and as well as going out and actually answering
So you're
the
it.
call.
That's cool,
That's
yeah.
it.
You like
yes.
dispatch yourself. You're like, all right, we got an incoming call. Hey, I'm on the way.
Yes, and a lot of times you'll have several more on the way, so you try to
Yeah.
reroute, and then you have to be good at multitasking. But
How does one, so we got, Sheriff's Office Animal Services, we have FWC. How does one get in touch with your organization if they see something that fits what you're doing there?
well, we have our webpage, and we are on Facebook as well as Instagram. And also, if you call Brevard County Sheriff's Office Animal Services, they have our number, and as well as FWC.
Yeah.
And most of the police departments and fire departments now know and have our numbers as well.
So I'm going to shift gears, and a great question
Yeah.
as far as how somebody gets a hold of it, but I'm going to shift gears. How somebody help?
Oh my goodness.
How does, is you guys obviously you're doing this because you're passionate about it, but I get it. There's no matter what you're doing, not for profit or whatever, it takes money to operate, and fuel and insurance on the vehicles and medicine and everything else that you're doing here. So how do you guys operate? Where can somebody go to help?
Well, we are 100% volunteer based, and right now we have a very small, I would say, a skeleton crew. We're hoping to definitely get more volunteers that are willing to. It's a hard job though, and we definitely are looking for people who are willing to help in any way possible. We definitely need marketing and all those things that we don't know, because we're just kind of doing the ambulance and rescuing.
You're in there saving lives. Yeah.
Yes, so we don't really know about all the other things, but and then we are 100% donation based. We don't have any funds coming in except for any donations within the community, and we kind of just say, oh, well, if you have anything to spare, it can get us gas to the next call. But we are hoping to get another ambulance because the county is so long and the calls are growing. We're averaging 20 a day. So we definitely need another.
20 calls a day.
Yeah, and it's hard when we have the inlet, because the inlet gets really busy, and then Jetty Park at the same time.
So you go and you rescue this winter migratory bird or whatever it is, a raccoon or whatever. Where do they go? Where do you take them?
So they go, raccoons are hard. That's the hardest one. But they go to individual rehabbers. There is a facility here in Brevard County, Florida Wildlife Hospital.
Another great partner of ours.
And they will go, some of them will go there. And then also, if it's a specialized animal that needs specialized treatment, we will take them all over the state. We've gone to Miami, we've gone over to St. Pete. Depends on what that specific animal needs.
All right. So Jay wants to donate money to your organization. How does he do that? Was there a website he can go to?
Yes, website, wildfloridarescue.org. and also on Facebook and Instagram. And we have a wish list of supplies that we need. If you know of any vet clinics or anything like that, we desperately need wound care material, fluids, things like that we are able to provide emergency care for before we get it to where it needs to go.
Yeah, Jay will have to do it on the website. He's banned from Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can't be on the Facebook.
It's a Facebook deal, so we can't do that.
But speaking of helping, maybe on a broader scale, you have with you, this looks like a plastic jar, and it's full of, I'm seeing fishing hooks in here, weights, what looks like fishing line, maybe even some netting. Talk to us a little bit about
There's not
what
handcuffs in there from fishing for future.
No.
So yes, this is a kind of a daily occurrence here in Brevard County. We have many wonderful fishing areas here, but unfortunately, a lot of times an animal gets entangled in that line, and the quickest thing to do is panic and then cut that line. And you're thinking, oh, at least it got away. But in the most cases, that ends up being a death sentence, unless they are so incapacitated on the ground that someone's able to catch them and then remove that line.
So this looks like a gallon pickle jar that we have there. All of that stuff you guys have collected from
Yes, and this
rescues?
We have to empty this probably once a month. So we deal with a lot of entanglements.
I know a lot of people are listening. You can't see it, but it is literally a gallon pickle jar that is filled with netting and weights and
lures. A lot of these like professional looking lures. I mean, these they look like food. I mean, I guess they're designed to be that way, but putting yourself in the perspective of a bird or something like that, getting caught up with this stuff, to be responsible with your stuff that you're using, that's important.
So Jenny, again, somebody does, you're out there, and you're right. I mean, everybody loves fishing, and this is one of the greatest places on the planet to do that at. But what something hits in your line, what's the best thing to do?
So the best thing to do is to reel the animal in, just like you would a fish. And then once you get them on land, if you have gloves, then you can cover the head of the bird and try to remove that hook. And that's actually cutting the hook.
So regardless of what it is, you want to reel it in.
Yes.
And obviously trying to be gentle with it, not hurt it or anything of that nature. But
or let it hurt you.
Yeah, or let it hurt you. Yeah. So, and then call you guys.
Definitely call us if you cannot get it out. Sometimes it's super easy to just use your wire cutters and just cut the back end of that hook, and then it feeds out and there's no tear, and then you can just let the bird go. Obviously, if it's been struggling and it's injured, then you'll definitely need to call Wild Florida Rescue, and then we'll come out as soon as we can and get that bird taken care of.
Wow. I mean, I'm just looking at that. And you say you go through you fill up those how many?
We a little bit over a month, and that thing's full. So yeah, I had 3 calls on Wednesday just of entanglements myself. So.
And just to be clear, this sampling is not something that you've collected off the beat. This is stuff that's come off of animals.
Yes.
Wow.
We keep this in the ambulance so we don't leave anything behind.
Yeah.
And as soon as we take everything off, we just shove it in there, and then when it's full,
that's incredible.
I was watching a documentary on TV the other day, and it was talking about all the garbage and plastic and fishing line and nets and everything that's in the ocean and in our waterways and stuff. And I never realized. I mean, it's just it's massive. I mean, tons of the stuff out there.
And there's actually an amazing invention now, and it's called magnet fishing. And we've informed all the rangers to go magnet fishing, and it's literally like a fishing pole with a big bell magnet, and you can throw that out and reel in other fishermen's trash. So if your kids are like, I don't really want to go fishing, but I'm going to be out here hanging out, they can throw their magnet in and reel in other people's trash.
Wow. I fish for fugitives, so I'm kind of doing the same thing.
Right.
Just not doing it with a magnet. Wow, that's pretty neat. So
that's pretty cool.
We ought to put together a little like a fishing tournament for trash, man. That'd be a neat little community event to do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So you get called out repeatedly and never stops, huh?
It never stops. We're open 24 hours a day. Right now, 6 days a week. Hope to be 7 days a week. But yes.
Training. What kind of training do you guys go through or have to keep up to speed on?
So we are very blessed that our team right now has a lot of vet techs and zoo professionals. So we have a lot of animal handling, but definitely if you would like to volunteer, it's something that you want to do. We just would do some ride-alongs and show you how to do some animal handling and restraint and different ways to, a lot of personal protection is what you learn about, and then get you out and see if it's something that you would enjoy.
Yeah. So, you've hit on it a couple times. I don't think people realize that these birds and everything else, they'll put a little shellacking on you.
Yes, a 90-pound alligator snapping turtle, even if it's been hit by a car, is going to put up a big fight.
Wow.
So.
That's about how much you weigh.
90 pounds, yeah. That's about as much as you lost.
So I've lost a teenager. So, should do an Amber Alert. Most interesting call you've ever been on?
Oh my goodness. So for me, it would be a laughing gull that was on the barge that had returned from the rocket. And so SpaceX had said, oh, we have this injured bird on our barge. Could you come and get it? And the gull itself obviously is special because every bird is special, but to be able to actually walk on that barge and see the scorch marks, and that was amazing.
Oh,
it was amazing.
Cool.
What kind of bird was it? You said a laughing gull?
A laughing gull, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you know those ones. They're the ones that you hear that throw their head back and make the crazy little laugh. Yeah.
No.
Well, you got to get to the beach more then.
Apparently, because all the birds you've named off, I didn't know a single one. So, the only thing that matters is that you know them and you can take care of them.
Yeah.
So again, somebody wants to help, they can volunteer. They can go to your website.
Yes. Facebook,
and
Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram, and I can't say enough about all the great stuff you guys do. It is, like I said, I've been on scene when we've called you out, and the response time was incredible. Certainly, the service that you're providing for the community was incredible. So, tell us a little bit, other than what you do, apparently 24/7 here rescuing animals. Tell us about your life. Where'd you grow up at?
I moved a lot with my family for my dad's work, and then I married when I was 18, and my husband was in the Army, so we moved a lot too. So I'm definitely a gypsy at heart, but I found where I love this community, and I love where I live, and I love what I do. And
but it doesn't get any better than that. In fact, that's a great place to close this, because everybody that lives in Brevard County loves it. So I'm gonna close this out, and certainly speaking of loving everybody, thank you for all the love and just admiration you show our deputies every day out there. We are truly blessed to have a community that loves us. So we'll see you next time on The Go with BCSO.